Hello, this is Udo.
And this is Peter.
And Sven from U.D.O, and you're watching Chaoszine.
Hello everyone, Chaoszine is today here at Royal Vaasa in Vaasa, Finland, and I have Peter, Sven and Udo from the band U.D.O as guests. How is it going, guys?
Pretty good so far. I mean, we just arrived from Sweden yesterday. We played Sweden Rock on what day of the week is it?
I don't. Wednesday.
No,
Thursday. We played Sweden Rock on Thursday. Exactly. Yeah, today's Saturday. Yeah. So everything good so far.
That means tomorrow is Sunday.
Yeah,
correct.
That's correct.
Clear that up.
So obviously Sweden Rock is a very legendary festival. So how did the gig go?
It was fantastic. I mean, there was a lot of different bands there. Deep Purple was there, which we all like. Got to listen a little bit to them. Hung out with Mickey D. So, and then it's just a huge festival, very well organized. It was the sun was shining, and we were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we were very happy. We didn't play there for 8 years or something like that. And it was really good. I mean, the last time we played Dirkschneider, right?
Yeah.
Only accept songs. So, and this time we came with U.D.O and only play U.D.O songs. And it was fantastic. The reaction was great. And always like Sweden Rock is one of the
best festivals in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And they take care of the bands like very well.
Oh yeah, the hospitality is amazing. And we love to be there. And it was great to be back finally. And we hope to be back soon. Hopefully.
So it was announced in April that Peter joined the band full time.
Was it?
Was it?
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
It was.
All right.
So originally, when did the guys approach you to ask if you want to join the band permanently?
I think it was after I recorded the album. I'm not sure anymore, honestly. But we toured 3 months together, and I had it was nice to meet everybody. Everybody's very respectful and nice to me. It's a great band, very talented musicians. And the atmosphere is just how it should be in every band. It's very nice. And when Udo asked me, he said, could you imagine doing this, full time with us? There's no question in my mind that I could. So I said yes.
So was it like immediately clear for you when Peter joined the band for the European tour that you want him to join?
I mean,
full
of
time?
course, in a way, I didn't expect that he really said yes. But, I mean, for me, it's like the whole thing is like it was yesterday we was together on stage, I mean, now it's like the old atmosphere is back, and that it's for me also a lot of fun to do it together now with Peter. And I think also the rest of the band is really happy with Peter now, though. Everything is like they have at the moment a really good atmosphere, everything is fine. We're laughing a lot and everything, perfect.
Yeah, we're just having a lot of fun on stage. I think the audience can see that. I mean, we do get a lot of comments nowadays that people can see that the band is having fun on stage. And for me personally, it was great from the first night you joined us in Berlin. I mean, it was quite hard. I called him, I think, on Monday night or Sunday, I don't know, I think it was Sunday, and I asked him if he could fly to Germany on Wednesday to join us on Thursday in Berlin, and we sent him the set list. He said, hang on, I will call you back in 5 minutes, and so he did and said, yeah, I'm coming. So that was amazing, and we had such a good time on that tour, and I think it was in South America when we sat down and we asked Peter, if he would, if he could imagine joining the band full time. Because Dylan left and decided to quit the band. So that was, I think the perfect spot. And Peter was up for it, and we are very, very happy that he said yes.
So obviously you left Accept in 2018, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, correct.
So what kind of like split it was like overall, from your side of the picture?
Well, it was maybe the last 2 years. It started to, go down. I didn't like it anymore, and I found out some things. I don't want to elaborate, but I found out some things that are really not nice. And I've been together with Wolf my whole life, and that wasn't really necessary. Some people have to have all the control, and when it started going into the artistic control, then it really bothered me more. So I really wasn't into it anymore. And I was glad I did it because it was 2018. It was the last tour, and then Corona happened anyway. So I got to record a lot of different albums. I played on Mick Mars' solo album. I did so many different things, and I was writing music for television and radio anyway. So I had 2 years of really doing, work in other stuff that I wasn't used to. And then on the other hand, sitting at home for 2 years, when Udo called, that's why I took my 5 minutes to answer.
But also don't forget, we was working already together on this We Are One album,
Yes,
and so that was the first time we did something together again.
Yes.
And then we was working on Dirkschneider and the Old Gang, so that means we already was in contact, yeah, so I think that how can you say that? It developed, and then now the end is like Peter's back on stage with me. It's good.
So did you felt like immediately when you hit the studio together that there's something good happening again between the two of you?
Well, it is for the fans, obviously. It's very nice because it's authentic. You have two original members of a band that you loved and adored playing, original stuff. And that was nice. But then also, for me, it was interesting to just do something else and playing accept songs or recording accept songs. Now it's a little bit of a different style, and especially the new album that's coming out is very different from the others that I know from U.D.O. So, I'm very excited to be part of that. I just played the bass tracks. I didn't, compose anything at this point, but it was really, really interesting to play different style of U.D.O. songs. That was very, very nice.
I can't wait to compose songs with this guy.
Yeah.
It's already, people, I always say in interviews, I'm looking already forward to the next album. It's just a new one is coming out. No, that will be also now, if this whole atmosphere what we have at the moment, I think that will be, we'll fund that also on the next album, the whole thing, and that now I'm really looking forward. So, not retiring.
The ball is rolling.
Yeah,
at least
the ball
it seems
is rolling,
so.
of course. Yeah.
So who actually wrote the bass lines to the upcoming album?
Obviously, we all composed on this album, and obviously, everyone gives their input. So if one is having an idea, we just send it back and forth, and everyone is putting their input into the songs. But mainly, of course, if an idea is from Andre, of course, he thought about bass lines already.
Okay.
But that's the way we were forced to work, because, we couldn't meet during Corona. So we had to work via the internet and sending files back and forth.
Horrible.
So this, horrible. So this approach is a bit different, From now on, we will definitely go back into the studio and just sit down face to face and write music. And then, of course, everyone is involved differently. But yeah, that was just the times that we had to, change the way of working.
But I think also, like Peter could put his own thing on this album bass-wise, It's not like you have to play this note and this note exactly, and I think you could do your own thing, and that's important.
So you sort of have still free hands to do something within certain frames, but
I live in the US, so I recorded my bass tracks at home in my studio, and I had the luxury of actually taking my time. So, instead of playing it as quick as I can, I took my 3-4 days. I worked on each part, played it together, went to bed. The next morning, listened again. It was really nice to just be able to put some real effort into it. Instead of sometimes you're forced, the studio time is very expensive, so let's get it done. The guitar players always take the most time. Bass and drums are done in 1 day or 2 days, and then the rest is all guitars.
Come on, dude.
So it was nice. Yeah, well, I know.
Now it's time for the vocals.
But it is. They have 2 more strings. You have to understand.
So obviously, Touchdown will be released on 25th of August,
yes.
Through Atomic Touchdown,
Correct.
Through Atomic Fire.
Yeah.
So when did you actually started writing music for this one?
But I was still in Corona times, I think.
Yeah.
When did the last album come out? Was it in 2020?
2021.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, I
2021.
believe so.
Game over,
I believe so.
Kevin.
Yeah, and so we couldn't play still at that time. So of course we used the time to write new music. So basically we started after the last one right away. And,
Was it difficult to start
Yeah,
like
but
straight
there
away?
was some difficult stuff going on, of course. Corona was the same. We couldn't go together to the studio, and also then the thing was happened, about with Andre. He was living in Ukraine, and that was the next thing after Corona. We think, oh, thank God it's over, and then this shit was happened, and then. That was then we stopped everything for a while. I mean, the most important thing is how we can get him out there, And that took a while. That was 2 months.
Yeah, 2
in a
months.
way.
Yeah, I think it was 1 month where we just basically were happy that he contacted us every day, and we knew that he's still alive. So it was very drastic. Basically,
Where he living in somewhere like near the war zone?
he was Chernihiv, so right in the fucking triangle where they got in. So it was
Okay.
really bad, and we were just super happy when I went with our producer. I went to pick him up at the Polish border, basically with his family, because there was one slot where he could get out and drive a car towards the border. So when he called and we just sat in the car and we said we're gonna be there. And so there was, as Udo said, like we had to stop everything. So in the end, it took us quite some time to finalize this album. But I think that you also can hear the result of these things, because I mean we were fed up with negative stuff, and this album turned out to be very aggressive, and therefore I think you can also hear this influence in the music that we wrote.
I was actually going to ask you next that obviously we've lived in quite fucked up times like past 3 years. So like that has most likely affected you.
Sure.
At least on a like conscious level.
Sure. I mean, first Corona, we couldn't play. Our lives were or our working lives were basically taken away within a second.
Yeah.
Then my house got flooded.
Oh yeah, also.
So I was affected by the big flood in Germany, and then the fucking war started. So I mean,
There was
things
a lot of,
added up. We could say so. It's a big relief to be on stage again as well, and to put out your emotions again. And yeah, I think that we all felt it. When we first started playing again last year. There was quite, I get goosebumps thinking about it right now, because that's something that, really,
You're back.
You are back and do what you love.
So what can you tell us about the lyrical side? Do you feel that the aggressive music also somehow reflected to the lyrics?
Let's say we have isolation when it's about the corona. You're sitting, you're isolated. You're sitting home. You can do nothing. You cannot go to friends. You cannot go to supermarket. It was so many things going on. That was one of them of the songs. Then we were talking about his flood. What he has with the house, and then we have a song, "Fight for Your Right." It's like it's the war between Russia and Ukraine, So the lyrics was definitely coming up with all the situations what we had, and but it's good, that you can write something about it. It helps you also from the getting away from inside with a lot of stupid things, and so I mean. But I think, on the other hand, we never ever really was a band also with we never was writing about lyrics, witches, dragons, middle age or whatever. It was always like also with U.D.O, like some social stuff or what's going on in the world, political, and this and this and this. But it doesn't mean that we want to be teachers, say, hey, you don't have to do this. You can read the lyrics, and if you get the sense of the lyrics, and if you get something for yourself, it's okay. If not, then it's also okay, And but I think that it's more important than to write about dragons. I think.
But were there like some times during that COVID period and also the war period that you didn't feel inspired? Because obviously it was quite dark times for the whole Europe, and obviously COVID time for the whole world.
Of course, I mean, especially Andre, he had like sort of, he was just happy that he survived with his family. So when he came to Germany, he didn't pick up a guitar for for some time,
Yeah, but that's
which is
understandable.
totally, we respected that, of course, and that's why we stopped the whole process of writing, which is totally understandable, if you come out and survive such a situation, which is, it's terrible. And but he luckily picked it up again, and of course the output that he gave us was, okay, we know where you come from, and we feel you. So that was inspiring for us in the end, because when we received some of the demos, we were sitting there like, okay, that's interesting, because it was a complete different approach from what U.D.O did in the past couple of years. So, but that was very good and refreshing. So yeah, these fucking stupid situations can put you into good situations afterwards.
But on top, I think Andre is still dealing with this because he has friends and family that are still
he will
there.
be
And
dealing
nobody
with that,
know,
yeah.
it's not like it's a clean deal now and let's move forward. No, it's
No,
for a lot of people.
unfortunately, everybody's waiting when that fucking war will end.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The first single from the album is titled Forever Free, and it's going to be out on June 23rd. So could you tell us a bit about the track itself? And why it's the first single?
Why? I mean, that's a tough question to answer. Why it's the first single? I think we liked it a lot.
The record company,
and the record company liked it a lot.
Like,
I mean, Forever Free is basically a song which we wrote the lyrics for, which should tell you, like, think twice, and don't get influenced by stuff, immediately and believe what you see and hear right away, not that we want to say there's false media or whatever, but just, try to go and approach it with your own logic, and then, you will be free in your mind and in your soul because, you thought about stuff, and it's not like you just brainwashed, exactly.
Yeah, and that happens quite a lot. At least now with war, there's two different sides,
exactly,
and both is telling like the opposite stories all the time.
Yeah.
So the truth is probably in the middle somewhere.
Exactly, somewhere. Yeah.
So obviously you did like also the Dirkschneider and the old gang. So is there like any sort of plans to continue with that at some point?
No, I think now that I'm with Udo, I think it's a good time to put that to bed. We did this basically. Udo, they had the idea to support the road crew and everybody who was involved in the U.D.O production during Corona because they had no income. So the idea was to record a couple of songs, put an EP out, and all the proceeds actually went to all the crew members.
Okay.
That was the idea of Dirkschneider and the old gang. So, and we don't have any time anymore because now we're basically going full steam here.
In a way, you can never say never. Maybe if we have time in between, and I don't know. But when, but I mean, can be happened, I don't want to say we never do this again. It can happen, but we will see. It's also not too easy to get these people together.
That would be the most difficult thing, because I mean, Matthias is busy; he's a lawyer. Stefan is busy with his thing. So Manuela is busy, and we are busy, obviously.
Yeah, so everybody's busy.
That would need to have like a very special time that everyone can say, okay, I would be free to do this, or to put it on stage live.
Another pandemic?
No, please, no. Please, no. But yeah, I mean, never say never. Who knows what the future will bring? But at the moment, we are way too busy.
Yes, at the moment, definitely not.
Before we wrap things up, I want to ask you a bit about the future. So what does it hold after putting out the album? Tours, most likely.
Yeah, of course. I mean, touring is coming up. We're still on the festival thing until the end of October.
Yeah.
So at the moment, they're working on an America and Canada tour, the end of the year. So that will be then the beginning of a touchdown tour. And then definitely we start, I think, the end of January or something like that in Europe. So that's the first plan at the moment. And touring.
Yeah, and play as much as possible, and then next festival season is coming up. So and then we would love to go back to South America next year. That would be great, to play some festivals and a tour around it next year. So we are working on several things at the moment.
Hey, thanks a lot
You're
the interview,
welcome.
for
Thank
all
you.
of you,
Thank you.
and all the best for the future as well as for tonight's show. Anything you want to say as a closure to the fans watching this afterwards?
Yeah, what can we say? I mean, first of all, at the moment we are really happy to be back in Finland.
Yep.
And I think we didn't play a long time here.
Yeah,
No, it's
Finland.
been quite some time.
Yeah. So, and then hopefully on the touchdown tour, we will do some more shows in Finland.
Stay healthy and stay heavy. Take care.
Stay Finn.